guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beth. I am a 36-year-old attorney living in the DC area, and I have a very exciting video to film for you today. So this is going to be a full face of Fenty, but especially focusing on the new liquid Killawatt highlighters. So I've been planning to do a full face of Fenty for a while now, and of course featuring a new release from Fenty was definitely a good time to film this. So I have two shades here. I have the shades Side Chick 01 and Vintage Velour 02. These are 2 out of 5 shades that they've released here. And I purchased these from Sephora. I was able to take advantage of their most recent 20% off coupon, but you can also purchase these on the Fenty website, and it looks like they are currently running a 25% off any $100 order. So if you were planning on picking up a few things from Fenty, this would be a good time to shop their website, and I am doing a full face, so you will be able to see me demo a lot of different products from them. If you are only interested in the highlighters, however, I will have timestamps down below so that you can go ahead and skip to that section if you are only interested in the highlighters. And during the demo portion as well, I also do some comparison swatches to some other highlighters from Fenty, their powder formulas, and also some of the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wand. So if you're curious about any similarities between those two formulas, make sure to stay tuned for that. So I do demo both of these shades. Again, these retail for $28. You get half an ounce in each tube here. So they describe Side Chick as an opal gold and Vintage Velour as a platinum pink. And then the third shade is Hustla Baby 2.0, so named after their powder highlighter, Hustla Baby. That is a peachy champagne. So if you are curious about the Hustla Baby shade, Rebecca from Not Fit for Print Beauty did just review this, and she has Vintage Velour and Hustla Baby, so she got the second and the third deepest shades. And then we have Honey Hottie, which is a copper gold. And then finally, Butta Brownie is a bronze gold. So they say liquid luminosity, sets pretty, endless ways to glow. Glisten up. Rihanna's iconic highlighter is now in liquid form. The smooth, superfine fluid leaves an ultra-modern layer of high shine, super fresh radiance that's effortlessly buildable, transfer resistant, and hugs your skin with good for you ingredients. Rihanna's iconic highlighter that lit us up from the start has now taken a liquid form. This next level glow has smooth, superfine shimmer that can build from a subtle, sheer veil to a show-stopping radiance. We're talking a next generation light as air radiance. Fluid, non-greasy formula that's lightweight and non-sticky. High shine, show-stopping radiant finish. Buildable from subtle radiance to a supercharged glow. Transfer resistant and dries down quickly without disturbing makeup. It's formulated with clary sage extract and innovative pearls for a dewy and luminous effect. And it's in a range of universal flattering shades for all skin tones. And Fenty Beauty is 100% cruelty free. It says all shades are vegan, and the first few ingredients for a lot of these look like they are water, dimethicone, and isododecane. So Rihanna's inspo, it says, Killawatt was a game changer and quickly became a signature to our brand. Now that we are introducing the new liquid Killawatt formula, I know it's going to be a favorite for our highlighter junkies. This is for anybody who loves to be extra but never overdone. The liquid Killawatt formula is really smooth and easy to build. Sometimes I just apply with my fingertips. It's just effortless. So I think that's going to be it for this intro, and I'll go ahead and get into the demo. Okay, so let's start with a primer, and I have the Soft Matte Pro Filter. I think this was sent to me in like a BoxyCharm or something like that. I believe they do have a more mattifying primer and then also a hydrating primer. So if I were selecting one of their primers for myself, I would go with the hydrating one because I have dry skin, especially now. But that is the primer that I have. And then the one non-Fenty product that I'm going to use is the Charlotte Tilbury corrector because I don't think Fenty technically makes a product like this. They have 2 different concealers, and I think one is supposed to be more of a correcting type of shade, or it's just more of a kind of lightweight concealer that also corrects. but I purchased a different concealer. So to kind of fairly assess that concealer, I'm going to use a corrector because I always have to use a corrector. So I did make an exception for that one product. And then I have the Pro Filter Hydrating Longwear Foundation in the shade 110. I still have it in the box. This foundation has been out for a while, obviously. I've also tried their Eavesdrop, but because it's not like the summer anymore and I just want to go with a more kind of traditional formula that kind of goes with the concealer, I'm going to use this one. And I'm not sure whether they might be discontinuing this product. It seems to be marked down. This might be a little light for me now even. Okay, so I'm going to blend that with my Beauty Blender. I don't have any tools from Fenty. Yeah, I think this shade might be a tad light. It's been a while since I've tried it. Okay, so I do happen to have a second shade in this foundation. For whatever reason, when I purchased it, I got two shades. So I'm gonna try this shade 170. I don't recall what the descriptions are of the various shades. I tend to look for a shade that's like fair with neutral to cool undertones. You can see that is quite a bit darker, so maybe I do need to kind of have both of these shades to mix them. But I'm just going to try to add some of this darker shade just so I don't look so ghostly. I think sometimes if you're at either end of the spectrum in terms of how fair or how deep you are, sometimes you just kind of assume that you're going to be a certain shade, like the lightest shade in a foundation range. And especially with a brand that is kind of known or celebrated for having a really good shade range, sometimes I think you can like overdo it. I think 170 might be a tad bit closer, but I think mixing them does actually help. All right, and we will be going in with bronzer as well, which should help. So I'm just gonna quickly look up that foundation. And the shade I use in the Eavesdrop, by the way, is shade 1. So that shade works fine for me, but I think a product that has less coverage, it's one of those that can kind of flex over various shades. Yeah, so originally this foundation was 36 and it's marked down to 18, so that to me kind of suggests that it might be discontinued. I'd be curious to see if they come out with anything better. So I'm not sure why I chose these particular shades. So 110 is light with cool pink undertones. And then 120 is light with neutral, which sounds like it might work. So I have 110, but then there's also 120, which might have worked. 130, 140, 145 all have like olive or yellow undertones, so those probably wouldn't have worked. 150 is light with neutral, and then 160 is light with warm peach. So it looks like I have 110 and 170 both have cool pink. So maybe that's why I went with these two shades, is that they're the two light shades with cool pink undertones. So anyway, so that is the base. And I did kind of pile it on a bit, so I'm not going to kind of judge it too harshly. This isn't the first time I've worn it, but it has been a while. It says it's medium to full coverage for all skin tones. I'd say I definitely could kind of build it up to a medium to full coverage. I can still see a few things peeking through, so I'd say it's more on the medium side. It says it's skin smoothing, light as air, and long wear. It's an ultra blendable skin smoothing longwear foundation that delivers it all, with medium to full coverage, serious staying power, and a natural finish perfect for all skin types in a groundbreaking range of 50 shades. So given how that shade match works, I'm very curious about this concealer. So I have the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Concealer in the shade 100, which could be a little light for me. We'll see. I do like a bit of brightness underneath my eyes though, so I'm not totally scared. Again, I probably could have maybe gone with a deeper shade. I think I went off of like whatever they recommended. So going back in with my beauty blender. I mean, it's a tad light, but I think once we have kind of all the eyes done and everything, it'll work out. Yeah, so this 100 is light with neutral. They do have a 110, which is light with cool pink. 120 is light with neutral. 150 is light with neutral. 170 is light with cool. From memory, I'm wondering if they matched the concealer shades to the foundation shades, but actually made the corresponding shade a bit lighter. So you could pick the same shade, but it would be a little bit lighter to kind of give you more of a brightening effect. So let's do some contouring. So this is a product that I do use regularly. This is the Fenty Matchstick in the shade Amber, and I like to use this for contouring. And my brush of choice is the BK 101 brush, which is this angled foundation brush. So I had been using this for kind of contouring everything. But lately I've taken to just using this to contour the nose because it's really easy to apply to the nose without getting too much on there. And then I'll just take kind of that more tapered edge and just kind of lightly buff over it to blend. Which I think works pretty well. So underneath the chin and on the cheek lines, I started to use the KVD contour because it's more liquidy and it's just a little bit easier to blend on like my neck, especially because it's a drier part of my body. So I will just kind of give you a quick look at the difference in texture. I mean, this is still fairly blendable, but it is more of a cream, so it is just a little bit harder to blend. So what I'll do is just like that. It's a very nice kind of ashy gray tone though. And then I'll take the full kind of flat side and just go like that, and you can see it just blends pretty easily. I think with this one though, I do have a little bit more control than the KVD. Like that one I think is a little bit easy to kind of get carried away with, so I do appreciate that. I think today I'm going to use a cream blush because that's the only formula that Fenty makes. I think I might use a cream bronzer as well. So I have both of those formulas. I have the cream and the powder. I wonder if she's going to come out with powder blushes because that does seem to be kind of a missing element. So these are both, you know, kind of light and a little bit more cool toned. This is Into Sun, the powder, and this is Butter Biscuit. I'll just swatch these. I think I might actually like the tone of the powder better. Okay, we're gonna go powder because I think that's just a little bit more cool toned and neutral. So I'm going to swatch the powder bronzer again next to the Gucci bronzer in the shade 1 because that is my favorite kind of more cool toned bronzer. So I'll put that back there. But as far as blush, I don't know if you can see, I have 3, 4, 6 different shades there. And I think I might go with hopefully one of the more kind of wintry shades. So I have Petal Popping and Cool Berry. All right, I think I'm gonna stick with Petal Popping. I might go in with Cool Berry if I feel like I need to jazz it up a bit, but I'm just going to take my finger like so and just pop some on. And then I just take my middle finger and ring finger and just kind of tap over it. I feel like these were pretty hyped up when they first launched, but I don't know if it's just because there have been a lot of other cream blushes that have come onto the market. You don't hear as much about them. So I think that's definitely a more natural look. I'm gonna try some of this Cool Berry to see kind of how pigmented it goes on top. Kind of focus it a little bit more towards the back of the cheek. Okay, so I think that gave me a little bit more dimension. Might need just a tad more on that cheek. I feel like I'm jumping around a little bit here because I want to make sure I kind of finish off all the cream products before I go in with the powders. So I do have their loose setting powder. I have the shade Butter, which is more of the yellow, and Lavender. So this is like a little kind of travel or sample size. I think I might do Butter because I don't think I need any brightening with this complexion. I think I definitely need a little bit more color. So this just has like a little sticker. And I've been curious about this because I think it was on some like Velour best of list, that kind of thing. So I just tap some into the cap and I'm going to use my Wayne Goss number 2 brush. And I suppose you could use their pressed foundation as a setting powder if you wanted more coverage especially, but it would be interesting to see if they ever come out with a like dedicated pressed powder. And I am powdering the cheek even though I'm going to be using a cream highlighter. It is a little hard to get a good amount into this little cap without feeling like I'm getting too much on my brush. I've never been a huge fan of like baking, especially since I have dry skin. So I think I'll leave it there for that one, and then I'm going to take a look at the full size that I have. This is in a different shade, but I want to kind of compare the packaging. And this is the mini. So they have one that's larger than this. This is the mini, and this is like a deluxe sample, I guess. So I don't even know what the full size packaging is like. I do like all their like octagonal packaging though. I think it's really fun. So this one has a little puff, which is cute. And then it has FB as the holes. And I don't think there's like any kind of stopper mechanism or anything like that. I guess you could just put the puff back on to make sure the powder didn't kind of get everywhere, but let's see, just apply a little bit more. So I think my skin looks pretty kind of luminous still, so I don't think it's like a totally mattifying powder. So I'm going to go in with the brows next, and I did buy their pencil in dark ash blonde. I kind of ordered all the pieces that I was missing for a full face a little while ago, so these have been just waiting for the right opportunity here. So I'm not normally a big brow pencil person. I prefer just like a tinted gel. So I'll say that at the outset, but they don't make a gel type product. Okay, so let's see how this does. And I guess I can zoom you guys in at this point. We'll do the eyes next. I think think I seem to recall like Jessica Braun or someone talking about this pencil, and specifically like the brush side of it. So it darkened them a bit. As you can see, maybe like I do have kind of longer brow hairs, and I will trim them kind of periodically just to make sure they're, you know, obedient. But with a brow pencil, you don't quite get that hold that you do with a brow gel. And I think this said ash blonde, right? But I think I could have even gone just a tad bit cooler. I think this brush is fun though. I do like that. It's like a very dense oval shaped brush. And again, I don't recall if Jessica said that she found a dupe or she just, you know, would use a dupe if they had one. So that's that little brush. It almost reminds me of one of those kind of old-fashioned brushes that you would use to like clean furniture or like a coat or something. So next up we have the eye primer, and this is a product that I've been using pretty consistently actually. I'm actually starting to see kind of where the product is kind of coming away from the tube because it's starting to get to the end. But yeah, it's just a nice, easy primer. It has a slight tint to it, but I don't think it really cancels out much, which is totally fine. It blends in nicely, and I think it does a good job of preventing creasing, which is the main reason why I use a primer. So for the eyeshadow, I have the number 2 Cool Neutrals palette, and this I got in, I think, a BoxyCharm, and I think I might have used it in that video, but it's been a minute. Okay, so those are the shades, and because those are all a little bit deeper, what I like to do is take a powder, whatever I use to set my face generally, and I will just set the primer with a brush and that powder. So I'll just tap over just to make sure that, you know, the shadow kind of blends well and doesn't stick to anything. So far I like this powder. I think I generally prefer a pressed powder still, just for like ease and all that, but I don't mind the Fenty one as far as a loose powder goes. Okay, so I'm gonna use my Sonia G Classic Crease and go into that medium matte shade. All right, and then I'm gonna use a, what do I have that's clean-ish? I'm gonna use this little flat definer brush in that same shade underneath. Okay, and then I think I will start by using the mini booster brush and go into that darker matte and see kind of where this takes me. So I think, and again, from what I remember last time as well, I think these shadows are fine. I don't think they're anything super remarkable. I know the holiday palette got some pretty negative reviews. All right, and then going back in with the Classic Crease and that lighter matte again. And just go over to blend. I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with liquid shadows now that they're doing liquid highlighters. And, you know, they've done a fair amount of like cream products. So they're definitely not afraid to kind of branch into different formulations of the same type of product. I'm gonna go in with this one up here, this metallic shade, and this is my Chikuhodo GSN 9. See how this picks up on a dry brush. Not too bad. Okay, and then I'm gonna flip the brush over And I'm gonna go in with this darker pink shade first. I'm using all but one of the shades. I'm not using that kind of more bright purple. Okay, so I'm gonna go in now with the lightest metallic pink shade, and so it's kind of a more muted look, which is not surprising given the shades that I chose. I'm going to try wetting the brush, especially on those lighter colors, and going in to the lightest pink shade again. See how this does. A little bit better. Using this palette kind of reminds me of using like a Dior Quint or something like that, where more often than not you get a pretty look, but I think given like the Dior customer and everything like that, like it still tends to be pretty kind of subtle and subdued. It's not anything too crazy and dramatic, which is a perfectly fine, you know, way to go about doing makeup. I think it's just a matter of knowing what you're getting into. I'm gonna go back in with that flat definer and this darker matte, just to add a tiny bit more. I think I'm gonna call it there. All right, so let's do some liner. Okay, so I have 3 different shades of their liner. I'm not really the biggest fan of this liner formula. I do like the component. It's kind of triangular, so it does feel very nice in the hand. But I think I just prefer a little bit more of a creamier formula. So this one is Puppy Eyes, which is more of a coppery brown. I do like the names that they give their formulas. They're really fun. So then I got 2 more gray shades. So I wanted to get shades that would complement this palette a little bit better. So I got Bachelor Pad, which I think is a more dark gray, and Moon Dunes, which is more of a, I guess you would say like taupey metallic. And these have like a twist up, but you can't twist back down, so make sure you don't get too wild and crazy. So that's Moon Dunes, and this one is Bachelor Pad, which is more of a matte dark gray. I'm gonna start off with Moon Dunes. I don't think this eye look is too dark. So hopefully you can see the difference there. It's just, again, I think I prefer something just a little bit creamier, something that'll transfer really easily, and then you can kind of smudge out. Okay, so that is Moon Dunes. I think I am going to go over that with the Bachelor Pad shade. I do like that the tips have the color indication there too. So if you have multiples, it's very easy to just pick which one you want. Definitely appreciate that. So just for the sake of this video, I will kind of attempt what I like to do, and that is to take like my little angled brush here. This one is a Sigma E65, and I'll just kind of run it across the tip to pick up some on the brush, which is a little bit harder to do on this type of packaging. And I will, I have an eyelash there. I will try to create a little wing. But with this one, you can see I just got a tiny bit of actual product transferring. So I think even just that little bit does kind of give you more of an illusion of a lifted eye. With hooded lids, I don't go for any kind of super dramatic wings or anything. I think that's where we're gonna leave it there. I will try to put this on my waterline, but I think I need to use 2 hands to do that, so I might be out of frame here for a second. Yeah, and just so you can, I don't know if that freaks you guys out, I forgot to put my eye drops in. It's not really transferring. I mean, it is a little bit, but I don't typically put liner on my waterline, so that's not like a huge selling point, but all right, let's put some eye drops in for the sake of YouTube. For mascara, right? I am the worst at eye drops. Let's do mascara. So I always curl my lashes. I don't think Fenty makes a lash curler. Okay, so I have the Fenty mascara, and again, I got this in a Ipsy or BoxyCharm a while ago. So it's not a brand new tube or anything. And generally I will use the Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara. Just to quickly show you the wand. There's an interesting kind of oval, like flattened oval shape to it. So yeah, so this is not a brand new mascara. Typically I will use the Clinique Bottom Lash because it's easier to get onto the lower lashes, and it's a tubing formula, so it just is a little bit more resistant to smudging or flaking, and it's easier to not get on my face. Okay, so let's curl the upper lashes. I have the Repert lash curler here. So I'm not sure exactly when I opened this mascara. I haven't really been using it, but I know it's still within its like lifespan of, I don't know, 6 months, I guess. So I applied it with the kind of flat side, and now using the edge, comb through it. I don't know if this is specifically how they say to use it, but I know a lot of mascaras that are like this, that have this shape, do say to kind of coat it and then distribute. And I'll try to pin a comment if I experience any flaking or smudging before the end of the night. This is not going to be a full day wear test or anything like that, but hopefully I'll have a few hours that I'll be able to Okay, so that is one coat, and try to ignore that big blob on the side of my face. Going in for a second coat. I feel like every time I put on a mascara, I always say that my holy grail mascara is the Tarte Lights Camera Splashes, which is a waterproof formula, but it's not difficult to remove, at least with like waterproof eye makeup remover, like the Lancome Bifacil or the Sephora one, the type of formula that you have to shake. And I typically like that formula especially because waterproof mascaras, they help hold the curl. So you saw that I curled my lashes, but even so, I just find that non-waterproof formulas just don't hold up as well. Okay, so I think I fixed that pretty well. I see a slight kind of bald patch maybe in formulation, but I don't think it's too obvious. Okay, so I think that is the eyes done. Let's do some bronzer. I feel like I'm looking pretty pale. Okay, so like I said, I will compare this Into Sun shade to the Guerlain, so just so you get a sense of that color difference. The Guerlain one might be just a tad darker and more kind of red toned. That is the Fenty and that is the Guerlain. As far as a bronzer, I don't think this Fenty one is too bad for like a more kind of cool toned fair skin. Okay, so I'm going to use my Repert number 22 brush and just try to knock off any kind of excess powder that's still on there. Okay, so let's go in with this bronzer. And I just like to kind of tap in the brush, and then I'll just kind of stamp along the hairline and then bring it onto the cheeks. And try not to disrupt my brows too much. I think I forgot to apply bronzer in my last video, and editing it back is just, it's remarkable to me how much of a difference that makes. I remember a few years ago I never wore bronzer. I was kind of scared of it, but I think I might do, I'll do the highlighter next, and then I'll just finish off with one of the gloss bombs, I think. Oh, and I do have this setting spray as well. I think I'll hold off on that until the end, I guess. Okay, so I have 2 shades of the new Liquid Killawatt Fluid Freestyle Highlighter. I have the shade Side Chick 01 and Vintage Velour number 2. And I was kind of debating which of these to get. The third shade I think is called Hustla Baby 2.0. But just to quickly show you the powder version of Hustla Baby, this I thought might have been a little too deep for me. So that is Hustla Baby, the powder version. Okay, so these are 0.5 ounces, and I think these are $28 a piece. I was able to use the latest Sephora discount code, so I got 20% off, which was great. Fenty, I think even now they might be having like 25% off 100. When I ordered a lot of these other items, I think they were doing like 30% or something like that. So if you're not in a rush, I would say definitely hold out, and Fenty will probably have a discount on these at some point. They've kind of followed through with the same octagonal design on the package, which is kind of fun. It actually makes it a little bit easier to open, I think. So these are 0.5 ounces. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to get the Side Chick shade just because the name kind of makes me cringe. It does have kind of a gold sheen to it. So that is Side Chick. And then this other one is Vintage Velour. Doing these out of order a little bit. I think this one is going to be my preference, but I will apply one to each cheek so you can kind of see them side by side. So the powder swatch is the Hustla Baby, the original powder, and then the 2 liquid swatches are the new Killawatt highlighters. So I think what I'm going to do, I think I can actually just pick up some of this product from the back of my hand. So this pinky one, might need a little bit more. The price of these to me seemed a little bit high. I guess just compared to some other products in their line, like the cream blushes and that kind of thing. But I think they still might be like, I don't know, $10 cheaper than the Charlotte Tilbury light ones. And these are 0.4 fluid ounce, and these have that kind of sponge tip applicator, which I don't know, I'm kind of ambivalent to. I don't love it and I don't hate it. I do like a liquid highlighter though, just because I think it's like really easy and seamless to apply, usually. And then this one, the other cheek, is going to be Side Chick. I think if you're a makeup artist, these would be great because they're easy to dispense onto a palette or something and keep very sanitary. And, you know, because it's Fenty, she did a lot of different, I think there's 5 or 6 in total, so they go to a fairly kind of deep color. So this color, I mean, I think it works on me, but I can see it being really pretty on like super fair, like Asian complexions too, because it has that gold in it. So this is Vintage Velour, and that is Side Chick. I do have quite a few of Fenty's highlighters. I just showed you Hustla Baby, How Many Carats, is this white kind of cushiony one. So if you want to see kind of more detailed pictures on Instagram or whatever, I'm happy to swatch those. But this white highlighter is definitely kind of a different texture, and it doesn't have that yellowness to it. Hopefully you can see those. And then just to show you what else I have, this is Metal Moon. It looks pretty white in the pan, but I think when you swatch it, it does have a tiny bit of like gold reflect to it. It's not as intense maybe as the liquid. So that is Metal Moon. I think she still sells that shade. And that is Metal Moon again. That is How Many Carats, and that is the Side Chick. And I think the liquid does sheer out a fair bit, so it'll be a lot more subtle once you blend it. I think the actual sparkle particles in the Side Chick might be bigger than the Metal Moon. So that is Metal Moon, and then this one has Hustla Baby in it again, and what is this? Mean Money. Let me swatch on my other hand here. So Mean Money, I think with these, they have one part of it that's a little bit more subtle and one that has more of an impact. I think those could be kind of similar, but I'm not getting much from that Mean Money. And then this one is Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. Hopefully you can see those kind of near my pinky. That is Fire Crystal and Lightning Dust, and then that is Vintage Velour, is it? Yeah. Okay, and because I think, for me anyway, and probably a lot of TikTok, the product that comes to mind when you think of liquid highlighters often is the Charlotte Tilbury. I think I have a couple shades that might be similar to these new ones from Fenty. So let me just wipe off my hands. So I have Spotlight from Charlotte Tilbury. This is a lot darker than Side Chick. The Charlotte Tilbury one seems a bit thicker too, just, you know, by swatching it. And then, where's the other one? Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. Yeah, I wouldn't say any of these are straight up dupes. So that is Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury, that is Spotlight, and those are the two Fenty shades, so Side Chick and Vintage Velour. I'd say Vintage Velour and Pillow Talk are the closest. I think they're the closest in tone, but Spotlight and Vintage Velour are the closest in depth, if that makes sense. Not sure if any of that is helpful to you. Okay, so I think that is it for the highlighters. Let me know if you have any questions down below and I will do my best to answer. But I think I'm just going to wrap it up by using the What It Do Makeup Refreshing Spray. Yeah, shake well. So I think I also got this in some kind of subscription box. Okay, this is interesting. I feel like I could only like push down on it halfway and then it was like a true mist. It didn't feel like a spray. It feels like you just walked by like the vegetable section in the grocery store when they're misting the vegetables and you just got a tiny bit of it, or like in a theme park where they have all those like water features and stuff. I think that helped take down some of the powderiness, but it didn't really feel like anything was going on to my skin, which is weird. Okay, so just to quickly wrap it up with the lips, I'm just going to apply a gloss bomb to make it easy on myself. And I know the gloss bomb is kind of one of her like celebrated products. I honestly prefer the Pat McGrath lip gloss formula. So I've gotten multiples of these in different colors and everything. So I'll just apply the shade Fussy here. I have tried her liquid lipstick formula, which I really like the packaging of, but I find it a little bit finicky to work with, especially the applicator. And these are not kind of well mixed or whatever, but they have this weird kind of slanted hourglass shape to them, and I just don't find they're very like precise or anything. So aesthetically, I like the look of it, but I don't know, haven't been a huge fan of the packaging. And then they released these Mademoiselle lipsticks. I just have this little mini that came in some kind of set. But I think they might be discontinuing these. I think I saw on the website that they were all kind of marked down, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on with these. So I'm just going to stick with a gloss bomb and leave it there. I suppose they could come out with lip liners too. They do have a fair number of lip products. They've definitely expanded this line with like the more opaque cream gloss, and then the plumping ones. So I think it's fine. It's just, it feels a little bit thicker to me than I like, and like the scent is just very, very present, you know? So it looks nice on the lips and it's easy and everything, but it's not my favorite. I don't hate it, it's just not my favorite. Okay, I think that is it. So obviously I used a fair number of Fenty products in this video, and you probably got a sense for what my favorites were as we went through it. I am definitely curious to see if Fenty will be discontinuing any of those products that I mentioned, especially the ones that I haven't tried in a while and are marked down on their website. I think the blushes are still very nice, but they are a more natural blush color. I think the eyes are very subtle as well. I think all of this, like I said, it's like pretty. It's not like as impactful as you might think a Fenty makeup line would be. So as far as these new highlighters go, again, I think they're nice. They kind of fit with the whole aesthetic. They're very kind of subtle and they blend in on the skin, even over like a set base. So if you like a liquid highlighter and you like that kind of application method and that kind of thing, I think they might be worth looking at. I just would say wait for a Fenty sale because they have them fairly frequently, and I wouldn't recommend paying full price. So I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.